August 9, 1942. The Marines have just landed on Guadalcanal. The Allied fleet guarding them goes to sleep. The Japanese do not sleep. In 32 minutes, 4 Allied cruisers will be on the bottom of the ocean. Japan sank 4 Allied heavy cruisers in 32 minutes without losing a ship. This is Battle of Savo Island. August 1942. Savo Island, Solomon Islands. A battle is about to begin that will change the course of the war. On one side, Allied navies, US, Australia, commanded by various Allied captains. Against them, Japan, led by Admiral Mikawa. Both sides know what is at stake. To understand this battle, we need context. The night after the Guadalcanal landings, a Japanese cruiser force caught the Allied screening fleet completely off guard. What followed was the worst naval defeat in American history. Allied navies, US, Australia, had assembled a powerful force. 6 heavy cruisers, 2 light cruisers, 15 destroyers. Japan was equally prepared. 5 heavy cruisers, 2 light cruisers, 1 destroyer. The stakes could not be higher. A defeat here would be catastrophic for either side. Various Allied captains studied the situation carefully. Every decision now could mean victory or disaster. Admiral Mikawa was confident. The plan was set. There was no turning back. The men on both sides knew that many of them would not survive what was coming. The Allied fleet was screening the Guadalcanal transports in 2 groups north and south of Savo Island. Admiral Mikawa assembled 7 cruisers and 1 destroyer at Rabaul. He sailed south at 28 knots. Japanese scout planes dropped flares over the Allied fleet. The Americans assumed they were friendly aircraft. Mikawa's force entered the Sound between Savo Island and Guadalcanal at 1:33 a.m. Radar picket destroyers failed to raise the alarm. At 1:36 a.m., Japanese long-lance torpedoes were in the water. The Allies had no idea the enemy was there. HMAS Canberra was hit by 2 torpedoes and multiple shells. She was a burning wreck within minutes. USS Chicago was torpedoed and turned away. Her captain failed to warn the other ships. The northern group of cruisers was still unaware. They were about to be hit. Mikawa's ship circled and attacked the northern group. It was like shooting fish in a barrel. USS Astoria, Quincy, and Vincennes were all hit within minutes. They never had a chance to fight back effectively. Quincy's captain was killed on the bridge. The ship sank with 389 of her crew. In 32 minutes, Mikawa had sunk 4 heavy cruisers and damaged 2 others. He lost 0 ships. Mikawa chose not to attack the vulnerable transports. He feared air attack at dawn. This was his only mistake. 1,077 Allied sailors died that night. The waters around Savo Island became known as Iron Bottom Sound. The defeat was so embarrassing that the Navy suppressed the details for months. Japan sank 4 Allied heavy cruisers in 32 minutes without losing a ship. 1,077 Allied sailors died in the worst naval defeat in American history. The cost was enormous. Allied navies, US, Australia, lost 1,077 killed, 4 heavy cruisers sunk, 1 cruiser damaged. Japan suffered even more. 58 killed, minor damage to 2 cruisers. When the news reached the capitals, the world understood that the war had changed. For the soldiers who survived, this battle would haunt them for the rest of their lives. The commanders on both sides would be judged by history for their decisions here. Military historians would later analyze every move, every decision, every mistake. But for those who were there, no analysis could capture what they went through. Savo Island taught the Allies a painful lesson about night fighting. The Japanese were masters of nocturnal naval combat and the Allies had to learn fast or keep losing. The lessons of this battle would influence military strategy for generations to come. Today, memorials stand where the fighting took place. A reminder of what happened here. Books, documentaries, and films have told this story. But nothing compares to the reality. This was Battle of Savo Island. Japan sank 4 Allied heavy cruisers in 32 minutes without losing a ship. And the world was never the same. The events described here shaped the world we live in today. The events described here shaped the world we live in today. The events described here shaped the world we live in today. The events described here shaped the world we live in today. The events described here shaped the world we live in today. The events described here shaped the world we live in today. The events described here shaped the world we live in today. The events described here shaped the world we live in today. The events described here shaped the world we live in today. The events described here shaped the world we live in today.